It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 13th of December. I'm Michael Groff. Our weather really not that frightening around here, unless you consider being stuck in an endless loop kind of scary, which I guess it could be. Dry conditions, temperatures above average on most days, all the way through at least the end of next week. How long will that last? What about that forecast for Christmas? We're getting closer and closer. We're still not really in the real good forecast range for it just yet, but we can at least look at some model trends. We'll do that and so much more as we dive on in. But before we do, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and/or videos that you guys have submitted. And first up, David Parnell was out at ASU last weekend for those 6A football championships. And it's just a beautiful weekend to be out there and enjoying the outdoors and getting the sports in and all that. So fantastic time here in the valley. And despite temperatures being a little bit above average on most days, we're still loving it. And then we'll go outside of Arizona. We'll go up to Helena, Montana. Buck up there with some sunset pictures from Big Sky Country. And we love to see all these. But it's not just sunsets that are going on up there. There's a little bit of snow as well. A couple of inches of snow to take a look at in some of these photos from Buck. And we'd love to see some sort of precipitation around here up north, across northern Arizona. Really, no snow to speak of, no rain to speak of, nothing around here. At least somebody's getting a taste of some winter action. And then we'll go international. This is from Zane down in Brisbane, Australia. And again, you're looking at some gorgeous kind of sunset pictures there. Clouds hanging on. And also a great picture from Zane. This is Johnny, their dog. Love to see that. Always love to see your pet photos. Of course, Michelle and I have shown ours, our cat and our two dogs on this channel a number of times. Always good to see the pets. And then we'll go up to Steve in Willow Creek. And again, a sunset from earlier this week. That is gorgeous. So again, even if we're not going to get the storms and we're not going to get the rain and the snow and everything else, at least we still have the Arizona sunrises and sunsets and just the beautiful landscape that this state has to offer. So that is always something to look at. And if you've got something you'd like to submit for Photo Friday, you can do so by sending that to our email address, groffshow@gmail.com. That's groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, let's get to it here. The almanac from yesterday, 75 degrees, the afternoon high, 53 was the morning low, 66 and 45 are the averages for this time of year, 79 the record high from 2010. And of course, we are almost 2¼ inches behind on rainfall. And I'm just going to step out on a limb here and say I don't think we're going to see any more precipitation for the rest of the year. Clayton was asking me in the comments yesterday if I thought that we'd have at least another record high before the month is over, and that is a possibility, which we're going to run through in a moment. Now, as we take a look outside, here at about, what time is it? About 9:37 a.m. We've got sunny sky. We're sitting at 55 degrees, dew points at 17. It's not quite as dry as it has been, or actually it pretty much is as dry as it has been. We're going to talk about that in just a second here. Relative humidity, 22%, wind east at 6, and the barometer is rising. Now, I mentioned the dew point there at 17. We had seen dew points well down below zero. Yesterday, the dew point actually at the Sky Harbor meter hit 23 degrees below zero, which would have been an all-time record, which I pointed out to the National Weather Service. I was a little bit suspicious of that number, given that surrounding sites had dew points maybe in the single digits. The air has been very dry, make no mistake, but not that dry as the National Weather Service points out. They told me that, Michael, that data is likely erroneous. The dew point sensor at Sky Harbor has been reading too low compared to surrounding sites over the past few days, and they're going to have their technicians take a look at it, and maybe they did, or maybe it's corrected itself, because there you see it's, again, dew points at 17. We'll show you here in the current observations. These are temperatures across the area right now. Again, 40s and 50s. Some of these are about an hour old. So there's kind of a wide range here. But looking at the dew points, it looks like Sky Harbor has kind of caught up. Now we're seeing, dew points mainly in the teens and low 20s. And again, that's still very dry air, make no mistake, but not historically dry air. So again, we're going to continue to see below average moisture levels for December, but not quite to the level that we were. I think the lowest dew point that we saw from other sites, more reliable sites, was around 0, -2, -3. But it looks like that problem has hopefully been corrected from the official meter at Sky Harbor. All righty, let's look at the satellite picture across the western half of the United States. And again, there's a few high clouds off to the west of us, but for the most part, the main storm track is going to stay to the north. High pressure will build in. We'll see these progressive systems pass to the north and occasionally give us some clouds and slightly cooler temperatures. But for the most part, temps will remain above average. And the watch warning map, kind of a repeat of where it's been, although we do see a few new features here. First of all, you got the air stagnation advisories for the Treasure Valley of Idaho, but just to the northeast of there around Idaho City and McCall and Stanley, that's a winter storm watch in effect from 11 p.m. this evening through 5 a.m. on Sunday. Got a number of coastal flood warnings for the Pacific Northwest, gale warnings, winter weather advisories, and then again, some of that extends all the way down into parts of the Sierra, but all of that is going to stay to the north of us. Meanwhile, out across the Plain States, winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, and ice storm warning around Waterloo, Iowa, Iowa City as well. Prospects of some ice accumulation there, and that's always something to be aware of this time of the year in the Plain States, and again, lake effect snows in the northeast also. Convective outlook for today. We don't anticipate any organized severe weather, but some thunder possible from the Gulf Coast, the Texas coast, up through to around Kansas City and Joplin, Missouri. And the precipitation outlook, this is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, nothing. Region-wide, not much. Again, the storm track is going to stay to the north of us. When will this weather pattern change, though? That's the question you guys have been asking. I've been asking. Everybody wants to know. This has gotten a little bit ridiculous at this point. Let's see if we can find some answers as we check out the models. Here we go. The GFS, the 06Z run valid, 2 o'clock this afternoon. Little shortwave trough that's passing through the Intermountain West, mainly north of Arizona. Dry northwesterly flow for us and slightly cooler temperatures behind that wave. So what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Say mostly sunny and a little cooler. Highs mid to upper 60s. The average high for today, 66 degrees. We'll probably be right around or just a shade above that. Now for tonight, with the dry air around and winds relatively light, we should see lows in the 30s for many spots, low 40s for the urban core. It's going to be a chilly night. And then tomorrow, to kick off your weekend, a few clouds, high temperatures should top out somewhere around 70. On Sunday in the morning hours, some of you may be participating in the USA Today hot chocolate run down there at Wesley Bolin Plaza. That starts early in the morning, and of course, temperatures will be mainly in the upper 30s to mid 40s. But the rest of the day looks pretty nice. Some clouds and high temperatures will top out likely in the, let's say, around 70, maybe low 70s. Well, let's go to next week. Here's Monday. High temperatures again topping out around 70. Here's Tuesday. And here's Wednesday. That is a 1033 millibar high. That's sitting there near Page, so some pretty chilly air at the surface. And I think we will have some cool mornings here as we go through parts of next week, depending on cloud cover. But overall, it's going to be one of those where low temperatures are near average, maybe a few spots even below average, but high temperatures because of the dry air and mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies should top out generally in the low to mid 70s. And we're going to see more sun as we go through the later portions of next week with high temperatures again, low to mid 70s. This is Thursday. Let's go to a week from today. This is Friday the 20th. Look at that ridge. I mean, a pretty high amplitude pattern continues with a big ridge throughout much of western North America. There's a low to the west of that. There's a low to the east of that. This is your classic kind of omega block pattern. And it's not really going to break down. I mean, we have seen this pattern more or less. It's shown some occasional breaks. But for the most part, this has been the weather pattern we have been with for a month now, or almost a month. And it really doesn't show signs of breaking down for any extended period of time. And that's going to result in temperatures, again, holding above average, at least for daytime highs. Going out 10 days, this is Sunday, the 22nd. And the GFS shows a little upper low that's cutting underneath the ridge. We see this from time to time. This is cutting through the Great Basin. This may drop toward the southwest United States. And that could contain some clouds and some breezy conditions for us. But in terms of precipitation chances, just nothing really to write home about, at least in that kind of a setup. And temperatures will remain above average. But let's just keep on going, just for the heck of it, just for shiggles. Now this is, we're going to go on a journey now way out into fantasy land. Let's go out to Christmas Day. It's Wednesday, the 25th. And this is off the GFS, and it shows an upper low that's off the coast of Southern California, northern Baja. Obviously, if that's right, yeah, we could see some moisture increasing around here and maybe even a chance at some precipitation. But of course, what am I going to tell you? This is out here at about 300 hours. Okay, this is out here at way into fantasy land. This is just nothing. We look at this only to look for model trends. We like to see what the trend is doing. And if this verifies, yeah, that'd be somewhat encouraging. Let's look at the European. Actually, this is the European AI model. And this AI model has done pretty well. Now, we're out here again, this is trudging toward 300 hours. So the probability of this having any accuracy is quite a bit lower. But again, similarly to the GFS, it does show an upper low here over the southwest. This one is not as deep. It's a little further east, but would still maybe create the opportunity for some showers around here and cooler temperatures. Let's take a look at something else. This is off of the thumbnail that you probably see at the beginning of this video. These are temperature anomalies across the United States on Christmas Day. And, anywhere you see these oranges, the reds, all of that across much of the western half of the United States and up into Canada, most of Canada, these would indicate temperatures above average, anywhere from 5, 10 to 20 plus degrees above average, depending on where you are. Now, of course, up in Canada, that still means it's cold. It's just not as cold as it typically would be. And for those of you hoping for a white Christmas, well, for at least a fair portion of the western United States, and I would even suggest maybe the plain states, the probability of a white Christmas is pretty low on a graphic like this. But again, this can change between now and Christmas. And this, by the way, is off the European ensemble, okay? This is the ensemble approach. And so it kind of takes a mean of all these individual members. So this is a little bit more reliable, but again, we're still way out here in fantasy land, and that's kind of how that looks. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. Now this goes out, again, a couple of weeks. This is out through the 27th of December, and only a few members indicate any rainfall. So we're not really looking for any major signs of a huge pattern change or any meaningful rain chances. And the European ensemble just doesn't show anything at all either. And this, again, this is probably going to be a December where we don't have any precipitation. That doesn't happen very often, but there's been several of those throughout the period of record here in Phoenix. All right, let's take a look at temperatures off the national blend of models. And again, above average. I mean, look, this has us near 80 degrees out there into next week. And again, Clayton asking about those record highs. There is a potential if we get up into the low 80s. I mean, record highs this time of the year, depending on the day, are anywhere from about 78, 79 up to 83 to 84 or so. So again, there's a possibility we could flirt with records if things pan out. Let's hope not. Look, this is going to be the hottest year on record in Phoenix. Okay, that's done. We talked about that at the beginning of this month. At either what on our around I think the 1st of December, we put out a video about that. You can go check that out. But the math is pretty much, there's just no way, mathematically speaking, for us not to have the warmest year on record in Phoenix. It's just going to be a matter of by how much. And so these numbers would certainly just tack onto that. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video, it's due back here on Monday morning, but of course updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions, or you can donate directly via PayPal. Groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFFshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything that could possibly be Michelle related. It's linked up down in the description. Also, our streaming station available 24/7, 365. That too is linked up down there in the description, so you can always check that out. We really do encourage that. And if you want to know what plays over there on KMGX, well, again, it's the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear. There's hundreds of artists. There's thousands of songs. You get to hear my voice and Michelle on there, and I don't know what could be better, honestly. Okay, this is the part where we let's just check out what's on KMGX right now. Michelle very astutely pointed out yesterday, we play only a micro. We have just a very less than a half a second, so we don't get demonetized. But Michelle pointed out yesterday, she heard it. It was she got it right. It was Love Shack by the B-52s. Let's see what's on there today. Oh, there you go. And that's a little sample of what we play on KMGX. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. I swear we should do some sort of a contest where we give stuff away if somebody can figure that out, but who knows? All right. Again, we'll get Michelle on it. We'll take a look at in the prize closet. We'll see what we've got. Always good for engagement. You give away stuff. People love that. People love free stuff, even if it's a Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion mouse pad or a mug. I think a mug would be, that's probably the way to go. Mugs, shirts, hats. I know Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion doesn't really roll off the tongue. It's not the most marketable thing that we've got. I've toyed with the idea of changing the name of the videos to something a little bit more exciting. But I don't know. Well, it's just something to toy around with. All right. We're just talking here on a Friday. All right. That's it. Hope you guys are safe. Be safe out there. Have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.